I hate robbing banks.
Welcome to Reviews Without Remorse. Today we're going to be reviewing Avengers Infinity War. But don't worry, this is the spoiler-free version. I'm Dave, and that's Joe.
What's going on?
So, Joe, Infinity War. Ladies and gentlemen, we just want to explain something to you. We're going to wind up doing a spoiler-filled podcast, a videocast in this case, because it's almost impossible to talk about this movie, properly review it, without the spoilers. It's just that dense.
It really is.
We're going to do the best we can. We're going to do the best we can here, so we'll see. But, Joe, tell us, what did you think of Avengers Infinity War?
Wow. Just wow. It is, and again, it's just this is just my overall kind of feeling / recommendation, but holy cow. You wanted something big to mark 10 years of a Marvel universe all converging on one massive event. You got it. You got it in spades. This is massive. It is an event. It is absolutely an event. It is hard to even call it a film. To the point that I'm even struggling to give it a review, or at least a number score, as just a film, because it is honestly so much more than that. It is 100 pounds of potatoes stuffed into a 20-pound sack. It is everything you want and more. I'm almost having like a what is it kind of a feel. But listen, you are not going to be disappointed. I didn't find it to be perfect. I found it to be extraordinary. Again, but because it is so extraordinary, I found it slightly overwhelming, frankly, at times. But listen, you like I said, you've got an entire universe converging in one moment. 2.5 hour, 2 hours and 40 minutes event.
2 hours and 40 minutes.
So yeah, I mean, this sucker is just gigantic. You will not walk out feeling hungry. You will walk out feeling stuffed. And again, that is sort of my dilemma with this film. As far as recommendations go, absolutely go see it. Not only I plan to see it again. I plan to see it again. I mean, this is one of those where I think the beauty of it, I suppose, is that because it's so dense, because there's so much going on, that repeated viewings are going to be pretty worthwhile. I mean, this is unprecedented, frankly. And frankly, I stood online for this film. I can't remember the last time I got on a line to get a seat for a film. I mean, I got there half an hour, 40 minutes early, saying, okay, we better go, head over to the theater now because we want to get a good seat. And that line was wrapped around the theater. And I think we said the last time we can remember this was like Return of the Jedi in 1983. Yep. So yeah, I mean, listen, it is satisfying on multiple levels, almost too satisfying. With that, I'll hand it over to my partner here. What'd you think, buddy?
Let's start with the one problem that I have with this movie, and it's an extremely minor problem. The biggest problem I have with this movie is the fact that this movie hits the ground running. Literally hits the ground running. There is no time to take a breath. Don't think you're going to get some kind of big growth with any of the characters involved. If you're not up to date on the Marvel movies, the main heroes, you're not going to understand a lot of what's going on. So you definitely need a steady diet of Iron Man, the Hulk, the Thor Ragnarok, the Captain America movies, not so much Doctor Strange, Civil War 100%. Without those movies,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Big time.
Guardians of the Galaxy, both of them, especially the second one. Without any of those, you don't understand the pieces when it comes to the hero. Now, that said, that's a minor thing because, of course, I've seen them all. And if you're a movie fan, most likely you've seen them all as well. When you get past that, what you have is a movie that does something extraordinary. It excites you. It engages you in a way that you didn't expect possible. It introduces you to a villain who could have easily been a cookie cutter, Bond-esque villain, and regardless of how crazy his plan is, so to speak, they explain it. They at least take the time to flesh out the villain. Giving you this fleshed out villain just makes him much more threatening, as far as I'm concerned, and makes him a more compelling character. Technically speaking, this is Thanos the movie, and co-starring the Avengers. This is Thanos' story, and it's an amazing freaking story, and it's an exciting story. It's enthralling. It's nail biting. It's like leaning forward in your seat, like the way I am right now, just like, did that just happen? Type situation. I was amazed, absolutely amazed. I was enthralled. I didn't move. With the exception of leaning forward every once in a while for certain scenes in that movie. Didn't move once. Didn't feel the need to go to the bathroom. Was not tapping my feet or doing the whole or anything like that. None of that. Because you don't have time to take a breath with this movie. It moves that well. It may be one of the best edited action / comic / whatever you want to categorize it as movie as ever. Because literally, you would be with Group A, and right about the tail end of Group A, it's like they were reading your damn mind. You'd be like, I wonder what's going on with Group B. Bam! Group B comes up. Whoa, okay, blah, 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 blah. Well, I wonder what's going on with Group C. Bam! Group C comes up. Every single time, it's like they were ahead of the game. Brilliant flick. Loved this flick. I gave it a 10 on the podcast.
I came in a little shy. I gave it an 8.
Yep.
Which again, I will probably very soon regret, because I mean, this is a spectacular film. But like I said, it was a weird one, and again, I'll explain it in the spoiler section. But it's as David said, it is not exactly a self-contained film, and you will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. This one, again, this is less of a film and more of an event. And having said that, I do find it tricky to sort of say, well, then how do I judge this as a film, given what it is? And the fact that, again, like I said, this is a bombardment. I compared it, like Dave said, there are multiple things going on. Again, you're talking all of the characters in the Marvel Universe, pretty much, or at least 90%, minus a couple minor players. You're talking the whole universe converging on this point. So there are things that are happening everywhere. It is smartly done. It is compartmentalized, and it is organized in a way that the things that are happening make sense. But it is a bombardment. I compared it to when Plinkett did the review of the prequels, and he talked about how in Star Wars you had one climax. In Empire, the climax was happening in 2 places, and by the time you got to Jedi, it's 1, 2, and 3 separate climaxes happening simultaneously. At one point during this film, I'm thinking to myself, that's what I'm watching here, but the whole film is like one giant climax, frankly. It's again, this is the most intense, one of the most intense experiences in a film that I've ever had. But again, it's just kind of just overwhelming at times. So again, I feel that repeated viewings are going to be very satisfying. I have no complaints specifically about any of the characters. I don't feel that they had to be changed or tweaked to play certain roles. I mean, they all seem to be able to retain their core characters. But yeah, I mean, again, and 8 is nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, 8 is that is a great score. I have a feeling repeat viewings might get me to a 9, maybe even a 10. Because again, it's not like I have a lot of specific problems.
Joe, I'm going to cut you off there. Don't push yourself for the 10. All right, I wound up being enamored and enthralled. You can't. I don't think you could, in good conscience, give this movie a 10 until part 2 is out, and then it would help you better decide with the movies as a whole.
True, right. But then I'm going to say to myself, in hindsight, I would have given this a 10. So it's almost like I can feel that part of me. I can preemptively say, I do have a feeling that once I see the completed story, and again, this was a film that at one point was called Infinity Wars Part 1. And quite frankly, if they called it Part 1, I might have had an easier time giving it a higher score, because for some reason, the way they sort of deliver it, it's like, here you go. here you go. And there's no promise of a conclusion necessarily. I mean, we know what's coming, and as we sort of alluded to in the podcast, part of, I guess, knowing that there is more to come and that we know how the Marvel Universe works, that is part of the overall experience. So maybe instead of trying to forget that part and judge this as a standalone film, maybe I should embrace that knowledge and say, look, I know there's more to come, so why am I even, that's a point too. So again, it's like I said, it's hard to define this film. It's hard to put it neatly in a box and say this is this kind of a film and this is why it gets this kind of a score. It is more event than film. So again, but as far as recommendations go, if you haven't seen it already, go the hell to see it and come back and watch our spoiler cast.
Indeed, which is what we're about to record right now. So we hope you enjoyed our spoiler-free review of Marvel's Avengers: Infinity War. I'm Dave, that's Joe. We are Reviews Without Remorse. Keep an eye out for the spoiler-filled video cast. And please subscribe to our podcast where we go into even more depth with the movie. Have a great night.
Absolutely. See you in the spoiler cast.